I think we're here. We're live and in action. Another time. Another day of the week. Another hour of the day. Another minute passing by. Another second dwindling. And I'm here. Y'all don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just talking. What's going on, everyone? Letting some people kind of fill out in here. Eventually, I'm going to promote these bad boys. I think last time I had it like this. It was a bit egregious, but I don't know if you guys can hear me, how good it sounds. I don't want to set up all my mics and stuff, my equipment, my sound, my little baby soundboard I have. I do not want to set that up, so I'm just keeping it as greasy as possible, as shiesty as possible, just the least amount of effort. But we're gonna be talking stories. We're gonna be telling stories, maybe a few conspiracy theories, maybe some news. Not really news, but news. Not really a lot of gossip. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna have a good time. What else are we gonna talk about? I may give y'all some movie recommendations. There's a lot of things that that have been just petering on in my mind and in my mind's eyes, like what I like to say, is just the different things and that I see on here. I know the school supplies thing was kind of crazy. I know school has already started for some people. But yeah, we're going to get into a few things. And if you got any type of, suggestion on a topic or a story you want to tell or a story topic, put it in the comments. I'm reading those. I'm doing my best to read the comments. People joining, coming in and out, appreciate you. It's 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. I like to be on time, but let me know what you guys want to talk about. We can talk about anything. I can let it rip. You say just let it rip, dude. But I'm just trying to get on live more, especially with everybody following me. Everyone, it's kind of crazy too, because like 5K hit quick, and it's crazy to me that there are people out there who either have not heard a type of story that I tell, or B, have heard a story or heard something similar, or C, experienced the entity or the being or the incident in question, or whatever whatever the story may entail. Because there's a lot here, especially here in Oklahoma. There's just so much going on, just in general. Like I was out at I had to do some business running around. I want to say it was like New Tulsa, out there by Catoosa, and for the most part, I was like, okay, this is pretty wooded. It's a decently wooded area. I mean, I just don't think of New Tulsa, it's not something that pops up in my mind, but I was kind of surprised at like the amount of new addition houses that are going up on these lands. And I always have, this is like a mainstay question that I get all the time. And I got one yesterday. Well, what if I have something on my property, or if I have something on my my land, or my newly built house is haunted? What do I do? And like every time that I have to tell people that, like, they want me to give them native advice, and really, if I told you to smoke your house off or pray or whatever, if you don't believe in those things, it's not going to work. It never works. And so when people will say, because I always usually generally be like, hey, what do you believe in? Are you a Christian? Are you a form of Christianity? Are you Catholic? Are you pagan? Or do you believe in witchcraft? New witchcraft, which I didn't know that new witchcraft and old witchcraft are two separate things. But like, whatever you believe in, if you don't use that to get rid of like a ghost, Like the stuff that I tell you, like, hey, yeah, go smoke your house off. Like the general, just basic information. Oh yeah, just go smoke your house off. Like generally, that's probably not going to work because you don't believe in that. Now, unless you do believe in that, then it's probably going to work. But I had a gentleman one time reach out to me. He was kind of scared. Like he was really kind of worried. He had his kids used to run around this pond near his house, and he was asking me like, well, what should I do? And I'm just like, you have to just leave him alone, because he thought he had LP, because I had told a story about how LP are kind of drawn sometimes to clean water like springs or underground waters, and that's kind of what they hang around sometimes. And I was telling him this story, or telling the story, and he reached out and he was like, well, and I just had to tell him, like, that's really not what you need to be like worried about. If your kids see something that just doesn't seem right, like it's almost like if you saw something that was out of place. So if you're in the woods and you see something that you're like, oh, that doesn't even, why would that be there? That's probably LP. Like they're trying to get your mind to be like, oh, what's that? And to keep following and to keep going further into, whatever location you're at. And I had to tell the gentleman, it's like, well, I would just leave him alone. And he was like, well, I thought about giving him an offering. And I'm like, I probably wouldn't. And that's just me. I probably wouldn't. Just for the simple fact that, like, you don't know really what you're dealing with. I don't even know what he's dealing with. And he had a lot of weird stuff come up missing, and just kind of weird odds and end things that, like, if you were a non-believer in the paranormal, you would just think, oh, my mind slipped. And I just forgot to do that. But it's interesting to see the different people who, either A, don't believe in it, or B, they do believe in it, or C, they have it happen to them. Just yapping away over here. Just a yapping dude. And if y'all could for me, hit the screen. Just tap the screen when you guys, I guess there's nobody in here now. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just kind of hanging out. Probably go for an hour. But yeah, I'll probably go for about an hour. I think TikTok Live, I'm like not the most, like I'm not the best at knowing what's going on TikTok Live, because I haven't ever really done it. But this is the second time. I did one this morning, just kind of seeing what the temperature was. It was pretty dead, but it is what it is. I'll just come on here and yap and use it for the podcast. If you got a comment or question, or if you want to talk about something, or you want me to talk about something, go ahead and comment below. Eventually, I want to get into having people on here, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I had what was it? The live stream I did on Friday. I had to cut it off, man. I had dudes in here wilding out, talking about they was on the hub and they let their finger slip, and I happened to pop up. I just don't get it. I don't understand. I had to be a young dude, because ain't nobody thinking of that. Like, I think the hub in Oklahoma is canceled with that new law that went into effect. Now you got to put in your driver's license, and you're cooked. Sorry, guys, fellas out there. You're cooked. But let me know in the comments. If you something you want a topic you want to talk about, or a question, or just really anything, because, I'm always talking. I mean, I could talk about just about anything, but I've been pondering on the 100th episode. I'm going to have Rod from Lodge Tales on there, just for the simple fact that, like, the dude's got a lot of stories, and he's, like, really knowledgeable. That's coming, I want to say, early September. I am enjoying the summer. Our AC went out. What was it? 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and so we've had to put in window units. I felt like I was in 1999 or early 2000s with these window units. It just feels like we've taken a step back, but honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. It's better, in a sense. It is better. I think our electric bill's down, so like, hey. Let's see here. I'm just yapping, y'all. BJ Whitebird said, "What's up? What's going on with you? I hope everything's well." Man, like I said, I had a whole influx of new followers. I never really took TikTok that serious. I'm a huge YouTube guy, and like not like in terms of following, but just in terms of like that's what I like. That's the content the media that I consume. But TikTok seems like, I mean, it's probably going away. Then everything will be moved to YouTube, and I'll just start going live on YouTube. But let me know what topic. Put it in the comments. Let me know. I can tell LP story. I can tell you my Houston serial killer story. I don't know if it was a serial killer. I'm just being funny. But I had a crazy run-in with something weird in Houston with somebody that was chasing after me. I have told my devil story. I think I met the devil. I've told, or that story is on TikTok. But I can tell here, obviously. I mean, I can tell anything, but I got family stories. I had some people commenting on the Chito Harjo video, and I was always told that he was kind of real. He was rough. He was rugged. He was a rugged dude. But that gang, I didn't know that Chito meant like something like snake, which I didn't know that at all. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Let's see here. BJ Whitebird says they want to hear a ghost story. All right, I got a ghost story for you. Hit that. I want y'all to have arthritis by the end of this. Just hitting that screen. And let me know when you hit that screen. Let me know if you think this story's any good. But all right. Now this story happened. I can't remember if it was in like late high school or early college, but we were always down at Merle Home Park, always out in Park Hill, Tahlequah basically, and we always, man, was just going down there and ghost hunting, and we'd get up in them trails. And so when you enter, there's a bridge that goes across into the trails that go up, and they go up into the hill area. And one night we were out there, we were on this little campfire that's near the bridge, and we're all hanging out, and I'm telling stories. I'm starting to get the creeps. I start getting this spidey sense. It starts kind of coming over me. Like I start getting something's here, like I feel something. And so I said, all right, let's make our way back. And there's a light that was sitting right where the trail is. So like you go across the bridge, you have this like little welcome sign that has a bunch of brochures, or it did. And then there was one light, and you could see basically kind of the shadows of it. And as I'm sitting there, or as we're walking back, we see a cat. And I'm like, is that a cat? And I'm kind of real looking. It's hard to see. We got, at the time, it was like an old school iPhone, so you're trying to see in the dark and can't really see. And all of a sudden I look on the opposite side, and there's that cat. But all of a sudden, as we get closer, it's making like it's moving backwards. So we're moving forwards, it's moving backwards. And as it starts getting out of that light, it starts getting a little bigger. Like, I'd say probably baby size, but it was standing up. And we'd see things like that out there. And another time when I was a little guy. No, I wasn't a little guy. I'll save that story. That's an LP story. I'll save that story. But we were one of the times we was out there, and I was, like I said, high school, college, and we were driving on the road, and we were leaving. And I swear to you, there was a guy standing at that house, Merle Home. and he was standing under the light, but he had a hat on, like an old school, like 1800s type hat. And he was just standing there under the light where you could see like where the light was hitting him from the back and you couldn't see his face. It was just a dark figure underneath that light. And I'm like, oh my God, me and my buddy, I was in the passenger seat and my other buddy was in the back seat. And I said, look, what is that? And we all of us looked, and the driver, buddy of mine, he looked, and we're like, oh my God, what is that? You know, we start getting, I'm getting goosebumps telling us, but we getting real kind of scared. We were getting freaked out. So we're like, oh. And all of a sudden I look up, like I'm looking back on the road, and we're on the opposite side of the road, about to go into the ditch and hit a telephone pole. And I was like, look, and I like pulled on the dang. I'm surprised I didn't flip us, but I think my buddy had such a dang tight handle on that vehicle on the wheel that like it kept us from, like, I corrected us almost not just right, but like to get back on the road. And I'm like, look, and I pull on down, and the buddy that was driving was a real scaredy cat. Like, he did not like that. He didn't like ghost hunting. We forced him to go because he had a Jeep. But yeah, we pulled on that, and I pulled on that, and we took off, and he was scared, man. He's like, I ain't going back. Because, like, I don't know what that was. And I know people, as growing up, I know a lot of people would tell us about them seeing security footage of Merle Home, and they'd see over the course of a night, there'd be like a little chair that would just kind of move slowly. It'd just kind of creep its way, and then they go in there and check on it, and it'd be back to how it was. And I'm like, God, that's creepy. But we had a lot of that stuff growing up. You know, you kind of hearsay. I know Sequoia high school dorms were real creepy. They were like real creepy. But that's a ghoster. I told you a few of them. I had to empty the clip on you. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what topic you want to hit. And hit that like button if you like those stories. If you like the Merle Holmes stories. Appreciate it. But there's all just different things growing up, especially in Tahlequah. I'm a Woodall Wildcat. Went to Woodall Wildcat and played against Briggs, and I think we might have played Kenwood one or two times. I think that we had them in tournaments. Briggs, Tin Killer, Lowry, Shady Grove, all those places, man. It's like, and I used to make the different tournaments all over the place, and the only time I played over at Kenwood, I never realized how rezzed out some of these basketball teams are. I'm a basketball elitist, so I think things got to be perfect for me. I'm elitist in that way when it comes to basketball. I was like, dang, I got some unks in here, man, balling out, rolling ankles. Dang, I was like, man, one dude landed just right, and you could see, and literally, you could tell when he came down, he jumped, he probably got I don't know, this far off the ground, trying to swat at something, came down. He realized, oh, something's wrong with my body. I gotta get out of here. So he's like, sub me out. He subbed out mid-game. That's how you know the unks was, they was trying to relive them glory days. Dang, I felt like me playing Cherokee Holiday last year. Man, I was out there, tore up ankle, man, trying to relive my glory days. Let's see here. BJ Whitebird said, have you ever been to Fort Reno? I have not been to Fort Reno. I guess I'm assuming that's out in El Reno. I had never been out that way. I spoke to somebody who watched the Lucky Star Casino Bigfoot footage that was back in the early 2000s. I had her on the podcast. She was a manager over there. But she was telling me that, dang, the Men in Black story was for real. The Men in Black really came to that casino. And she said that they looked like guys who didn't have no facial features. But they just showed up and they looked like they were human, but they didn't look right, is what she was telling me. There's different people being like, oh yeah, don't say nothing, and it was confirmed. I had another person confirm that too, so I was like, man, okay, so this is for real. And when we were doing that interview, We were live actually doing it on YouTube, and the feed cut out. Like something booted her all the way off. Like all the way off. Oh, is that you? Okay. Dang. I didn't even see you there. Okay. Yeah. So I was talking to, BJ Whitebird. That's who I was talking to. I know you was something else, but yeah, that was a great story. I remember leaving that. It was like, man, I can't even believe this. Because, like, I had another person who worked with the buffalo out that way. And they were telling me that, yeah, they would feed those buffalo different kind of human-type food sometimes, and just as a treat or whatever. And they would see them. They'd be out there. I'm like, God. We got too much technology now. These Bigfoots know that. Like, they know that. Like, oh, they're out here filming, like, I honestly think, too, is people ask me, too, sometimes, well, how do you think that this person sees it and this other person does it? Or I've been out in the woods 30 years, and a follower commented something to me that I thought, yeah, 2000 is when that was. But hey, reach out to me. I gotta hit it for a part 2. I got some more questions, and I got some things in my mind I want to talk with you about if you want to reach out to me and do another interview. But I've had people reach out to me and ask me, oh, well, I've been out there, say things like, I've been out there 30 years, I ain't never seen nothing. Bigfoot's not real, I've been hunting. It's like, and then someone commented back and was like, well, maybe it ain't for you. And that has stuck with me for a while, because that does happen. Like, it is not out of the realm of possibility where something just isn't for you. Like, I've commented back on people who have, different videos of a bunch of people comment on. They say, well, I hadn't seen nothing. And I'm like, maybe you're the spooky one. Maybe you're haunting your workplace. Maybe you're in an alternate thing and you think that you're the person, but you're really just a ghost. I don't know. Because so many people are telling me that these things are happening, and like people are seeing them, and they're telling me their stories, and it's just like, I don't understand how you not, see it. But I don't know. But I also think too, Bigfoot, they want you to. It's like a. I often kind of wonder if Bigfoot have their own rituals. Oh, you got it. We see these old-timey movies, and they say, oh, young one, go get your stripes. Like that Prey movie, that Predator movie, where she had to go, or they had to go out and kill a mountain lion to prove that they're, old enough or whatever, man enough, whatever, or to be able to become a warrior. I wonder if that's the same thing Bigfoot does. I'll be wondering that sometimes. Like, I'll be really thinking, like, maybe that's what they do. And that's why people see them like, oh, this one's an easy one. It's just a hiker walking by. Let me step out and scare him real quick. I always wonder that. Because I also wonder, too, if there's something that each of us humans have that radiates. Now, I've heard a physical aspect of that, like females are more likely, is what I've heard, to encounter Bigfoot because of the pheromones I guess women let off. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. That's not my gig, but I often wonder if that's what that is if they know when a person has a certain thing about them. And I'm talking in riddles in a sense, because I don't really know how to describe it. I'm going to work this out in my head. But maybe it's them trying to... Maybe they sense something about the person that's passing by. And maybe that's what it is. Let me look here in the comments. I've seen a few people. Oh, okay, what year? 2000? My dad used to say that all the time. It's just not for everyone. I think so too, 100%. I think paranormal things happen to people. One, I think they're looking for it. Number two, I think that there's something that each one of us is born with that just happens to link up with that other side. Native American Tomboy, hi, how's it going? You believe in Bigfoot too? You think he's a male species? I think Bigfoot is all, I think Bigfoot is everything. Male, female, children. Like I mentioned on one live stream that I had Hunters of the Paranormal. He's on here. He posts different pictures and stuff that he finds. He saw a baby one. No, he saw a baby Bigfoot. So that means they're obviously reproducing in some form or fashion. But I think that women, there's like a pheromone thing with animals. That there's like a scent that makes them want to check whatever's passing by. I think it could be that primal or that primitive of a biological thing. But I also wonder too if they know that certain humans have an ability to see them. I think sometimes they're standing right next to you. You don't even see them because you're not meant to see them. That's not for you. And I think a lot of times people will hear things like hunters have been telling, and I've seen stories about this online, and I've had different hunters tell me stuff. But like the forest will just go quiet. And there's nothing. Crickets, birds, nothing. Bugs, all that stuff is just quiet. It's just like it's nothing. And they'd be like, oh, that's weird, and keep bebopping along. I think that's tied into a little bit of that missing 411 too. Now, I don't want to say nothing bad about David Paulides. I do follow him. He is very very particular about the way that you comment on his stuff. I believe that might be a part of it. I think LP is a part of it too. I think 1,000% LP is a part of Missing 411. I think 1,000%. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what else. But yeah, no, it's just, I think Bigfoot's just not, I think that some people just be like out there hiking and that dude's just like right there. Or that Bigfoot's just right there, like sitting next to him. Like I 100,000% believe that happens all the time. I just think people don't even realize it. My aunt told me not to be scared, but I ain't messing. Yeah, I stopped ghost hunting because I got yelled at by something that came out from under a bridge in Merle Home. I stopped. I didn't go out. I haven't been out since. I went out with a little bit with Spirit Talkers. We did a storytelling in Hominy out in Osage country, and we were out of this park. It might have been Hominy. No, it was Hominy. It was Hominy. And we were out at this park, and I already knew, I was like, man, I probably shouldn't even be out here. I don't even want to be out here like this. But I was out here, and we were looking, and they were telling us the history of different parks, and because I think there was a park out in Hominy that either a couple people drowned or a baby drowned, somebody drowned out there, and they were telling us about those stories. And me and this young guy, we kind of got out ahead. He was asking me something that I'd said or during the storytelling event that I was guest host, and we're sitting there talking, and we both kind of like looked out of the corner of our eye, and there was something little, like real little, just went across like that from like one of the play equipment to another real quick, like, and we looked at each other and we said, what was that? And then you could see it kind of like, and it took off again, off towards like the bathrooms. And we looked at each other and I said, all right, man, I'm gonna take a step back here. I am not gonna deal with any of that stuff, because I just, that stuff, and that's another thing too, is when you mess with a lot of that stuff, man, you just get bad energy. Like that's a lot of reason why I started taking breaks on the podcast, is like my mental health was horrific talking about that stuff all the time. Like there'll be aspects of my show where like I'll talk about conspiracies for like 3 or 4 episodes, because like I think when you talk about certain things and give details, you're inviting it in, or that's been a thing with Indians for forever. But it's it's all types of stuff out there, and all types of just energies out there. Because like when I was talking about Dogman, I was on a Dogman podcast. I was talking about this over here, and man, I swear I thought I saw a Dogman. I posted a full story on my page, calling it like shadow being or something. But that fool looked just like a Dogman. I was like, man, I was thinking maybe somebody, because when you talk about these things, and I'm not gonna be a hater to us Indians, but we do be hating on each other a little bit. We do be doing those things to each other. It's like what they call it, a crabs in a barrel type mindset. Sometimes we're like, we try to, like, people, it's bad on here on TikTok where people try to prove that they're Indian all the time. Oh, I'm a real Indian. I can talk about these things, but I don't really get into that discourse. But sometimes, I think maybe someone might have sent something that way. I'm by no means be trying to disrespect people, but that happens. My family was growing up has always kind of been that way. Let's see here. Question: may I ask respectfully what you think about? Cereal hotel. What does that mean? Cereal hotel. What is a cereal hotel? Man, I could eat some cereal right now, low key. Don't forget their grandma's Cherokee Princess. Yeah. It's like I said. I'm not really. I don't truly have an opinion about that, because I have a lot of people in my family who are mixed, and I'm mixed. Both my parents are Indian, but we got different things flowing through us. My dad is full blood, but he's like half Creek, a quarter Cheyenne Arapaho, and then a quarter Kiowa. So I don't really get into that discourse, because I'm just kind of I think one thing that especially working in municipal government, my Indian rage has taken a new height because of that. So I don't really look at the people. I'm not looking at like this person, just this person's blonde hair, blue eyes, but they're Indian. Like, I don't look at it like that, because I know that there's people up here who want to split up Indians just based on skin color and based on who you voted for. And that's a lot of it for me, is that I've seen that. Like, I had this is 4 years ago, I had come up with a whole plan to do an Indian festival in Tulsa, and it got shot down. Said, oh, well, there's people out here that would, they would think that that's a little bit racist. And I'm just like, but it's not just, it's an event for everyone to understand the history of this area. This area, it's got a lot of history. But that's why I don't really care to deal with the discourse of, blood quantum. Now, I do have a very strong opinion about blood quantum, because I have just done a lot of history. I've read a lot of history on what those Europeans did over there in the 30s, and how they took what they did here over there, and you got to read something. So I welcome all people. If you won, and like I said, there may be some people that are listening to this and be like, oh, this guy, colonizer, blah blah blah, white supremacy, he allows the pretendians. Like, no, there's a way you can tell. It's just that simple. Is there certain questions you ask, and then guess what? You move on. I know there's a lot of people that will die by that sword on this app, but I'm not one of them. I'm a guy who grew up experiencing a lot of things out in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, moved to Fort Gibson area, ran around in Muskogee for a couple years, and then moved to Tulsa. And then has had creepy stuff follow me all the way to Tulsa. And then I moved out to Oklahoma City to take a municipal job with the government out that way. And so I see it 100%, is it's not you and me. It's It's up here. And that's a lot of it. And I think a lot of us, we do this thing where we fight with each other. And I'm not, like I said, you can disagree with me. That's fine. You know, if I'm not trying to be rude to anybody, but if you're rude to me, I'm going to clap back. That's just, I've always been that way. That's that Muskogee Creek side of me. We're going to clap back. And, you know, it is what it is. But I got a few comments here. Troy says, why you leave Spirit Talkers podcast? Dang, so I answered this one Friday, but I'll answer it here again for those who didn't hear that. But I moved out to Oklahoma City. Literally, Russell and I, at the time, lived literally like down the street from each other, so it was easier for me to do things. I also had one kid. I have 2 kids now. It's just harder. It's just like trying to balance, you know, work and then also like kids and then wife, and then so it's just like I necessarily don't really have much bandwidth, honestly, like mentally. Like that's why that's what I mentioned earlier, I take breaks on my podcast, because it just comes to a point where like my mental health starts getting bad, so I'm like, all right, let me take a step back, let me worry about the things that are actually important to me. I mean, the podcast is important to me, it's just there's levels to it, you know. And maybe back when I was in my early 20s or mid-20s, I'd be more apt to just do things. But now it's more of like, all right, how is this going to affect me 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 5 months from now? And, you know, going out to Oklahoma City, my eyes were already open, but they're like this size. Because I understand the language of certain things and how people operate and how things operate. And so I'm more just kind of want to be in control of what I'm doing right now, because one thing I'm bad about, and I understand this about myself, is that I am a under promise and over deliver type of guy. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I may do that, yeah, but then I go all in, and that's just how I am. And so I went out to Oklahoma City, took a job, literally my mental health with that job was the worst. And so once that chapter of my life was over, you know, I don't have any time. Native American Tomboy says Cecil Hotel. Oh, man, you know, I saw a documentary about the Cecil Hotel, and I guess the Night Stalker lived there, but I don't really know much about it. I'm not really from California. I don't really know, like, what's going on with that. You know, I mean, I've seen documentaries about it, and I know it's haunted to all get out. But I don't really know much about it. Hit the screen, y'all. I need y'all to have arthritis. I'm hating like that. Let's see here. My girlfriend is white. It's all in the heart. Yeah, man. It's like, now, there's one thing about being with somebody who's non-native is that, and it's with like black, Asian, white, like, there is a certain way that we are. Like, I didn't realize how, not crass, but I am kind of crass. I ain't gonna lie. I've been around crass people my whole life. Like, people who just, like, you say something to me and I'm like, oh, okay, I got you, you know, did roast. Pure roast. Cut you down. And, like, you kind of get a thick skin to that. And you kind of, as you start interacting with people who aren't around you, you know, you got to operate different. And, like, when I moved to Tulsa, I had to operate different, because, like, small town, you can kind of be more rugged with each other. You know everybody, you know something about somebody, you know, so you're just kind of more rugged in that way. But that's why I just, like I said, it's just different. And also, too, like, I'm Muskogee Creek. I'm dang near related to everybody in Muskogee Creek. Like, keep it 1,000%. Someone could reach out to me, we cousins. I had like 3 people, but I think we cousins. I'm like, we might be. Who's your grandma? Oh, it's so and so. I'm like, God dang, we cousins. That was like me in like my mid-20s before I met my wife. Like, I literally meet, you know, somebody like, oh, I'm related to so and so. I'm like, oh, dang. All right, cousin. Kinfolk. That's what I started calling people. I started calling people kinfolk, even though we wasn't kin, because you just never know. Let's see here. Aaron says, "Congratulations on the kids, man." Yeah, I'll tell you what. I was like, before I met my wife, before I started having kids, like, I could feel myself, like, not spiraling out, but I felt like I was just going nowhere. I felt like I was just like. So then when I had my first daughter, and then, my grandpa passed 3 days later, I never could actually grieve about my grandpa because I had a little one. So that's good for me because my mind needs to stay busy. My mind has to be connecting dots and figuring things out and moving and shaking. That's just, that's how my mind has always worked. Like, I may be like sedentary, but I'm not sedentary up here. My mind is always, putting stuff together. So, but having kids, man, like, right now in the economy, having kids, man, it's dicey. I'm going to keep it 1,000%. Like, we are moving our youngest to pull-ups. And I'm like, how much are pull-ups? And they're more expensive than actual diapers. And I'm like, no. And then we had to start, like, we bought Aldi. No offense to Aldi. Aldi has a lot of great things. But y'all's diapers are ass cheeks. Literally ass cheeks. Our youngest peed through like 9 of them in a row. Just hanging out. So I'm like, don't do Aldi. But yeah, man, kids, if you got kids out there. Hey, if you got kids, man, get some more arthritis. We need y'all to age a little sooner. That's what kids do, man. I feel... I'm in my early 30s, and like, I sometimes feel old. Like, I feel old, just like walking around, like, especially like these kids be in the neighborhood. Like, my little girls will say hi to them, and these girls probably like 8, 9, 7, young girls, elementary age. And like, I'm looking at my kids, and I'm like, dude, my kids will be this age in like no time. So it's like, man, it's like age is hitting. But I appreciate that, Aaron. BJ says, I already got arthritis. Good. Now, use your middle finger, then this one, then the pinky, the ring finger. If you got to tap that screen with your toes, do it. But don't make sure you clean it off, because I know some of y'all be nasty like that. Ashley Francisco says, what yelled at you under the bridge? That sounds crazy interesting. Well, I'll tell it now. I'll tell you the story now. It's a very long story, but I'm going to keep it. It's going to keep it like high points. The full entire story, I believe, is on the podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. That full story would be under YT Stories, which is Yahola Tiger Stories, which Yahola is my name. I don't know if I've ever said that. I mean, it's obviously on the podcast. But it'll be Yahola's stories. And so those are my stories that I've experienced. I have part 1, part 2, part 3, and then I have a compilation where you can listen to all. It's like 3 hours long, I believe. But we went out there one night, and we were in my buddy's car. Dang, we were squeezed up in there. So there was myself, 2 big boys. They're like 6'6", 350 pounds plus. And then somebody in the front seat, we were crammed in there. I can't remember exactly how many people in there, but we were crammed in there. Like, I never felt so squished in my life. So this story has another story attached to it, because back in the day when my grandpa was going to NSU, he would go out there, when he was in college, and mess with a bunch of non-native guys. He'd be, messing around with them, see if he can get things to come out. And he hooted one night. And how the story goes, he hooted, and then a bunch of them started hooting back at him. And he was like, they got out of there, because like, you're not supposed to hoot at night. Like, that's not something you're supposed to be doing. And so we were out there, and we were leaving. We're getting ready to leave, and a lot of weird stuff happens, but we were getting out of there, and right where the bridge, you get onto the mainland, and then as you go up to the parking lot, it's a straight line with a railing towards the wooded side. Then you have the playground side. Well, it's a straight shot up to the playground or to the parking lot. So I said, hey, let me hoot real quick and see if we can see something before we go. And I knew in my head I probably should not have done this. And I knew I should. Actually, you know what? I knew I shouldn't have done this. So I hooted. I go, whoop, in the first one. And everybody kind of looked at each other, and they're like, all right, let's, like, they were like, no, man, because I've told this story to them about the hooting. And they're like, all right, no, let's go. I said, no, let's go one more time. I'm, being a menace. And I hoot again. Everybody kind of looking at each other. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to hoot a third time, because third time's the charm is what my mind's going. And I hoot again. And this is where it gets fuzzy for me, because I don't remember what it was in terms of like the actual like full screen. It was like my mind went into like predator prey mind. Like I froze in my mind. Now I don't know if I did physically, because anyways, that third time I hooted. Something came out from under that bridge and roared. And it was like, I heard, and then whoop. I remember coming back in my mind in the car, and we're halfway to Muskogee. And they were telling me, I come back into my mind, and I'm in the car, I'm squished up with these dudes. And I don't really remember much. And when I started coming through, they were like, when we heard that roar or whatever that was, the two big boys were in the front with me. Like we were basically in the back of the path going towards but we were the closest to the bridge. Then my buddy, and I can't remember if it was someone else, some other people were behind us. When they heard that roar, those two big boys were the first two to the car. They took off. Gone. And they said I don't know I can't remember if they said they had to grab me or pull me, or if I went, with them. But like, I just remember coming back into my mind halfway to Muskogee, and them telling me about them big boys being the first to the car. Took off. Now, I went to my uncle, and I said, I had this, I told my grandpa too, but he kind of judged me a little bit, but it's all right. But I shouldn't have done that. But he said, sometimes those things take your mind. I said, what do you mean? He said, whatever it was took your mind for a minute. And he's like, sometimes you just don't come back. You just ain't right after. So I'm right, I guess, maybe. I don't know, but you be the judge of that if I'm right. No. But yeah, that's why I stopped ghost hunting. I didn't go ghost hunting after that. Hit that like screen if you like that story. Or hit that screen. Get arthritis on that story. Is that Aaron Springborn in my chat? I think that is. I said your government name on here, bro. All right, Jessica Fowler says, wait until you have grandkids. My kids are 27 and 20. My grandson, though, different. Yeah, no, I don't even want to. Let's not even talk about grandkids on me. I ain't even trying to hear that. I'm not in no way trying to hear nothing about my little girls having grandkids. Like, I'm not going to be that dad that's going to be like, no boys in the house. Like, I want them to have, relationships with everybody. Not, okay, relationships in terms of like, friends. Okay, anyways, I don't know. Okay, ignore that part. But I just don't even want to think about it. Like, I see my two little girls who are both under the age of 3. Well, under the age of 4. Technically, they're about to be. It's about birthday coming up. But like, I just see them as that. Like, I can't in my mind see what they're gonna look like when they're 20. And it frightens the piss out of me. I ain't even gonna lie. Yeah, that night was terrifying, bro. Like, I still to this day can't, like, I remember asking you, I was like, dude, I don't even remember, like, the after effects. And I can't remember if you or Schaefer or Rowan were the ones that snapped me out of it. Just don't remember after that. I mean, I hope you're doing all right, man. I ain't heard from you in forever. I disappear like that, man. I'm not even on Facebook, not even on Instagram. I'm barely on X. I just scroll. So I'm a recluse now, I guess. I'm one of those guys. That's one thing too about me, and he can attest to this. I be taking step backs. Like I ain't even mad at nobody. I'm not even really I'm just existing in the ether, and I'm like doing my own thing. I'm doing this, doing it. Like it's just crazy. It's crazy out here. But yeah, hit the screen, man, if you like them stories. Anybody got any other topics you want to talk about? Anybody got any other? Oh, and hey, Aaron, is my place still good? That's another thing I'll need to ask. Is it still good? Because I ain't had it in a while, man. I ain't been in Muskogee in forever. Forever. But let's see here. Any other topics? We hitting close to an hour. I'll keep going if y'all got topics y'all want to talk about. I got to pick these kids up in a little bit. But let me know if you got any topics. And Aaron, I appreciate the gift. I think it's a gift. I can't, man. This is one thing. I'm like a boomer when it comes to this TikTok live. I feel like I just be boomering it up in here. What is this? But everyone who's gifted, man, I appreciate it. If you have, I literally cannot see. It just says gifter badge, which I don't understand what that means, but I got a few people in there. Windmill Road near Anadarko. You know what's crazy? I have never heard. I haven't as much. There's a few guys I follow on here who are from Darko, and like, I just have never. I haven't heard any stories from Darko. I need to have those guys on. They're what's the dang name of their podcast? I'm gonna forget it. I literally just forgot it. I had it in my mind. They're probably in here, but yeah, man. I have never heard, like, out of all of the stories, like, I got Pawnee, Hominy, out up north. You got Bunch, Kenwood, Stillwell, 10 Killer area, Keys, Cookson Hills area, Tahlequah, obviously, Fort Gibson. Which, speaking of Fort Gibson and the baby graves, I had a lot of people reaching out about the baby grave, or the whatchamacallit. It's crazy, man. Like, it's, we went out there my sophomore, junior, senior, and a teacher told me about this place. Said that there was possible some devil worshiping down there. And I haven't really gotten into that because it's such a long freaking story, and I always get hammered in the comments. A couple of y'all be like, nah, man, your stories are too long, get to the point. It's like, do you want the setup, or do you just want me to tell a story, and then you are going to come in my comments and be like, well, what do you mean this happened? Where did this go? And I'm just going to be like, if I had just set it up for you guys, if I had just set the story up, everything would have been fine. But we're not. So, but we went down there like multiple times. Every Friday night after a football game, we'd go down there. And one of the weirdest times we went down there was, I think that's, never mind. But one of the times we went down there, this is in Fort Gibson, this is the road across the street from the casino, next to the power plant, OG&E. And there's a road that goes back there, and we used to call that place Little Mexico, which I think all the Hispanic people lived out there, out that way. I didn't name it that. That's just what everyone else named it, and I just happened to. That's the only way I know how to describe it. But I know all the Hispanic people went to high school with lived out that way. But we would see all these dogs, and I hadn't even told this story, which I don't know why, but I just haven't. But we were down there messing around, and one night, and we had started a fire, and all of a sudden we had realized that we could hear movement in the trees. like in the surrounding woods around this kind of this little lagoon reservoir type that keeps, it's like the flow basically of the river. And we were all just hanging out. All of a sudden, we hear something crashing through the woods, like going crazy through the woods. I have never started up my old Chevy so freaking fast, man. I was out of there. We was all out of there. So then during the day, we come back just to see what that was, and it was a mess back there. But as we're looking back there, we could see that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of dog bones. Like hundreds or thousands. Like there were so many, and like on my YouTube, it's like one of my first ever videos. I did like a little montage of all of these dog bones that we found. One of them was like kind of more recent than the others. But we were okay, so that literally peaked in our mind. Okay, all right. There actually is devil worshippers out here, and they're killing these dogs. Now, the weirdest part of this whole thing, and one of the last times we stopped going out there, was we went to the house. There's a house. I don't want to give the location, but there's a house on that road, and it's not easily to see into it. But there were some things going on. And we saw symbols on certain things back there, so we don't know if that's where they meet. But I don't know if y'all have heard anything about Fort Gibson having devil worshippers. Let me know. I honestly think it's the Masons, but whatever. Anybody else got any comments, questions, topics you want to talk about? Conspiracies? If you want a book recommendation, if you want a movie recommendation, put it in the comments. I got a few of those. I've been reading as of late. I've been watching as of late. I've been creeping as of late. No, I'm just kidding on the creeping part. But 1,000 likes, y'all. Hey, like I said, I want you guys to have arthritis in your entire hand, not just your pointer finger, not your pinky, middle finger, your ring finger. I want y'all to have straight up arthritis where you can't even, like back in the old school days when you actually had to write your stuff and then you got in trouble and you had to write full paragraphs. That's what I want from y'all. Maddie, what's going on, cuz? Any Halloween special? There will be a Halloween special this year on the podcast. This will be the third year I do it. I will be trying to get a hold of some people to have them on the podcast. Last year I had Rod from Lodge Tales. Miss Rodriguez from the original Ghost Stories from the Res on Facebook. She's a Facebook group. And then I had Dono from Res Scares. So if you haven't, I have some people always ask me, who do you listen to? I listen to those people. Besides for Miss Rodriguez, she doesn't have a podcast. But she has a Facebook group. The Yazzie brothers from Don't Whistle at Night, or Don't Whistle, the Don't Whistle at Night podcast. They're Navajo. Let's see here, Skull Crawlers. I believe Kiowa. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's Kiowa, or one of those is Western, or one of those either Plains Tribe or West Tribe. But they just dropped a story with a Cherokee guy, I believe, to my knowledge. I don't know what I'm going to do. I may do a collab. I definitely am going to work on, maybe for the 100th episode, doing call-in on YouTube. So basically, I'll put the link out, and you guys will be able to join and tell your stories live on the podcast. Miss Whitebird, BJ, I know her as Miss Rebecca. I'm going to have her on the podcast again. She says she's going to reach out. There's a few podcasts that have asked me to come on and do their shows. And I didn't really have the greatest experience with the last one I did. I thought it was a little, I don't know. I just don't really want to poop on them, or drop deuce on their head. But I don't know. I just kind of want to get away from, unless I know the people that are on it, like all of them. But Halloween special, I will be doing that. Man, there's one story that I'm trying to get out of Dono from Res Scares. He's from Canada. He saw this being follow him home one night, and he's scared. He gets scared telling it. but he had some other things going on, and he's going to wait to release until he thinks it's all done. So, man, basically some entity or being followed him home one night when he was hanging out with some friends. And I guess the roads up there in Canada are a little dark at night, and followed him home. And he was on on one of my episodes talking about tie snake is another one that I love. That's probably what I'm most scared of, honestly, in the river and lakes and different places. But he was telling me a story that there's some medicine people out there that use like passerbyers, like tourist people, or to lure people out to bring the snake out. So the snake will come and give them their medicine. There's another story that I have about a tie snake that I've been so kind of hesitant to tell. I may have to do that on YouTube. It's about these elders back in the 60s singing these songs to these snakes and getting them to come out. There's a turtle shell one about tie snakes. So there's all these different stories that I have, or that I've shared, or it's just so much content, so many stories. Like, there's sometimes people ask me, how do you not run out of stories? It's because, like, my existence is hearing stories. Like, that's one thing I enjoy. Like, I get bored of a lot of stuff. Like, I get bored of a lot of situations. But I could hear stories all day. And I apologize to anyone if it feels like I don't seem like I'm reacting to your stories, or if you think I'm just passing your story by. Sometimes I forget to hit the like button, but I read everything when it comes to stories. And if you send me a message, sometimes, like I said, sometimes I get, like, my TikTok has gotten so many notifications. There's sometimes I just turn it off. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just turn it off. It's like, I didn't realize this is what this was gonna be. Really, honestly, I thought it was gonna be like a steady, gradual, kind of community building. But I got people from all over the place following me, so it's hard to keep up. Moon Goon, what's going on with you, brother? That's my. Dang, we find out we was cousins on my grandma Scott's side. I think is what we found out. I got all the family up here, all cousins in here. Dang, all five, 6 listeners that have been in and out, man. It's all been cousins. And then Rebecca, and that's it. No, I'm just kidding. But have a special in Eufaula so I can drive down from the city to get some Charlie's chicken. Man, that's one thing that I haven't said this publicly, but I'll say it here because whatever. I have a hard time going down to Eufaula for me. I only go down there to see my grandpa in my head. I have family members who are asking me to come down and do the spelling bee, and I just can't. That's one thing about, like, grief and death. It just never leaves. It's like, it's something that, like one of the last times that we hung out, like, me, my dad, and I think my brother, we hung out with my grandpa all day, and he took us to all of our ancestors where they're buried. And, it's a lot of places that he would just point out, this is where, he told a story, dang, he got drunk one night and they couldn't arrest him because I guess the jail was full, and it was like it was back in the day or something. But getting arrested and, being out in Dustin and, places like that. Hannah, golly. Oh, I got a crazy story about Hannah that was told at the storytelling, but I just have a hard time going. I went one last time in 2022 to my family storytelling, but I don't know if I'll be back. I'm going to be honest with you. I have family in Chakota, and I go there still, but I have a hard time going there too, because as you get older, people start dying, and you start kind of missing people, and it just gets, for me, it gets harder. I like to romanticize the old days in a way, and so maybe I may show up to the storytelling this year. I don't know. I really truly don't know. Dang, yeah, family reunion or some. That's for real though. God, y'all all in here. If you shine Arapaho, we might be. I want to say my Cheyenne Arapaho side is Their last name is Sheridan, I think. I don't know, because I know my Kiowa family is Two Hatchets. That's where that's them. And then I got some Collie, Kiowa, Collie is a family name. I don't know. I haven't really learned much about my Cheyenne Arapaho side. I think it's because you got to be 25% or quarter to be in that. My grandma was the last one. My grandma Sheridan, her dad was, he was Cheyenne Arapaho, more Cheyenne Arapaho. He was half. But you may know that name, Sheridan. But yeah, and I got what am I like? German, a little bit of German. I don't know what else I am. But I'm all types of things, I guess. I always said I'm Heinz 57. I'm Heinz 57. I don't know what I am. I go to Eufaula once a year at Thanksgiving, and that's it. Not a lot of cousins. Yeah, yeah, as I said, it's just hard, man. Because the storytelling event, what we went to every year, some of those stories, those are some old stories. And people, there's crazy, too, because, I'll tell some of them on my podcast, and people are like, dang, I ain't heard that story in forever. My grandma told that story. And it's like, how do you know that story? And I'm like, because I listened. I am actively listening to these elders in the Eufaula Canadian tribal town storytellings and events. We went to a lot of those events. We went hay rides, talking about, ceremonial grounds. Because, my family is weird. Because, Eufaula Senior, which is my great grandpa, passed younger. I don't think I ever met him. I think he died when my dad was born, maybe, or might have been right before or after I was born. I can't remember the story. I'll have to ask, but he believed he practiced. He knew those things. They always used to say when he needed some money to get his treats is what he call it, is what I call it, but his he'd go out and he'd do something, and he'd always come back with a little bit of money. So it's he knew things, and when he passed well before my great grandma, Grandma Tiger. She said she'd see him. She's like, come on down to the ufology, because that's what the name of the grounds back then, way back in the day. They're overgrown, and I think we looked on Google Earth, and it's weird too, because you can see where the grounds were, and the trees are growing up around it. So it's kind of weird, but ufology is where my family, my ceremonial side, but my family split basically. My great grandpa he believed in the grounds. That's what he went, and then my grandma Tiger she was church. So family, you do different things, but dang, I'm giving y'all a life story right now. Dang, y'all know details about me. Y'all about to steal my social security number. Do me crazy like that. Rebecca says 1/8 to be in. Yeah, I'm not. I'm I think I'm 1/16 Cheyenne Arapaho. So I'm out. But my dad, I'm gonna have to tell him that, because his card is all jacked up. His card is way messed up. So I don't even know his is. Luckily, mine has Creek and Cherokee on it for sure. My card, but dang, that's crazy. It's we got to be card carrying members, man. It's crazy. That's another thing too. It's government. I'm disillusioned with it, man. I don't believe in it. If you can't just come out and be unpolitically correct or talk in a language that's double speak, I have a hard time with it. I have a hard time listening to people that talk like that. Be like, oh no, I love these people, but then not doing that over here. Yeah, it's whatever. But anything else, y'all? Any other? Man, those storytelling events in Eufaula are, shoot, there'll be times. One time we was out there, it was getting real late. I remember we were out there way too late one night. I was a little kid, but it sounded like something was traveling through a Bigfoot or something was running through the woods behind us. Another time, I think I had an uncle was out there looking. He could hear something messing with him, and he was out kind of off to the front side of the property. I told a story last time about the dog with the silver or gold tooth. I have to tell that. I'll have to post that as a story. That's a pretty good story. That's one of my favorite stories over there. But the spook lights out there, and you follow it too. They got one out there. But Honeycomb Bluff, there's people that live there now, that live at the basin of it, and I don't know how. I truly don't know how, because that place is creepy. I'm talking about creepy. You won't ever catch me dead out there. So when we were, I'll tell this a little bit. I haven't told it on the podcast, so I'm going to save it for the full version on the podcast. But y'all ever heard of a Glimmer Man? Let me know if you've heard of a Glimmer Man. Kind of it looked like Predator, like the Predator from Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. But they saw it. He saw one. My grandpa, my dad, I think my 2 aunts, one of my uncles, and I was right in front of them, and I remember hearing the noise. It was like a cracking sound when it moved, like when it was moving. But I didn't see nothing. But they saw it, and they saw something that looked like a dang reptile. I don't know. I'll have to have my dad record that, because I can't tell it right. So I ain't even gonna tell it here, but I'll get the full story. Maybe I have to interview my dad about it, but my dad is that's where I kind of get my creepy from. Is my dad? Is this fool will be walking home Tahlequah from his job, be walking home, and go the darkest route, like no lights, no houses, and he goes this back road. If y'all remember where, I think it's not Ace Hardware, it's over there, like off the main drag where you're going through that main light off. That's not Downing, but it's there's a hotel on the right, there's a Reese's, and then the Walmart. You hit that light, you take a right. And the first right, once you kind of pass the hotel, there used to be back in the day, there used to be an old Italian restaurant there. And my dad would get off work on, I think on Muskogee, one of those streets, and kind of like you're headed into downtown, would walk all the way from there, go by that Italian restaurant, up into the kind of wooded area, and walk home. And he said one night he was walking home, and he said he swear he thought he heard a wolf kind of off to his back corner, like behind him, and he turned and there was nothing there, but he thinks it was there to protect him. I think that's what he was telling me. And then one time he saw somebody walking in the opposite direction, going into the darkness, because when you come out there by the Heritage Center in Park Hill, like you're headed, like that's where the road comes out, is the Heritage Center in Tahlequah. And he was walking there, and he said he just was walking, and both the guys kind of, like him and this guy, looked at each other and making sure each other was real. Like he wasn't seeing like a ghost or something, or a shapeshifter or Skilly or whatever. But though, it's just where I get my spooky from, is my dad. But anybody else got topics? Hit that. I see, I want to try to get these likes up to 5K before I get off here. That's kind of my goal. Get 5K. We get to 5K, I'll tell y'all a good story. Leave y'all scared at night. But any other topics y'all want to hear? I'm just curious of what topics, because I'm trying to go as long as I possibly can, because I like doing this. I might have to start doing this in the nighttime at dark. Start getting y'all real scared. Start telling them demon stories. Get y'all spooked out there. I got a few demon stories. What's going on? Daughter of the Alligator Clan. Yeah, always be tagging me, so I appreciate you. All right, Rebecca. Thank you for hopping in here and getting my mind. I'm glad you reached out. I felt bad when I got off Facebook and Instagram. I said, dang, I lost a few contacts. I'm glad you reached out. You know what? Let's see here. Me B. Yeah, I know that's you. I know who Me B is. Yep. I appreciate you always supporting my podcast and, tagging me and stuff. And I appreciate that. Owl Woman. I hadn't heard much about her as much. I'm trying to think. So owls, I had heard. My mom actually told or saw something. My mom was always getting attacked by birds. It's crazy. Like I remember being a kid, we was driving around Tahlequah. We was kind of coming off where the casino is now, the big casino as you come into town. And dang, she had the window like down because we ain't had no AC. All of a sudden, this bird comes in the dang the driver's side. She's screaming, swerving all over the place. Always something kind of happened after that too. But she saw almost like a 3 foot, 4 foot tall owl in the middle of the road one night. I think, and then we had a relative pass after that too. I think it was my great aunt. I think she passed away. That's what they're messengers, man. I'm scared of them. I'll tell you, one night in this house, I was kind of wrapping up, going to bed, and I look out and there's an owl sitting on our fence. Boy, I opened that door so dang fast. I said, "Get your ass out of here. Go." I was like, "Get on out of here." And it just sat there. I had to keep doing it. I was acting like I was going to walk out there. And it finally took off. But I can't remember what happened after that, too. I don't know. That just happened probably 6 months ago. So, but they're always out there. But gotta support my bro. I appreciate it. You know, I know you and Mr. Gertie. There's another guy named Gertie he be screaming from the rooftops on my podcast. You don't see a lot of podcasts that are actual just a person from where we're from. You got a few of them, but you don't have no, different podcasts from this area that, was in the mud with everybody. We was in here greasing it out. In here just being greasy like that. I had my greasy days. So I'm greasy right now. But one thing too, there's just all these different types of beings, and I was going to say this when I talk about owls. Is to me what's creepy about them, just as an animal, is that they can turn their head 360. That's. I saw it do it on a National Geographic show. I said, "Turn it off. I'm out of here, y'all." Ogopogo. I haven't heard much about that. I know that people say that they see that in Eufaula. Like people see like a serpent type thing, but I think that's a tie snake. I know people say they see red octopuses in Eufaula Lake. I had a relative see one go across the highway. He's like trying to run it over. He's like, ah. But but that's one thing too about octopuses that nobody really talks about in terms of their anatomy. They're not from they can't. They're not linked to anything. So like how people can say, oh well, alligators are linked to birds back forever ago. With octopuses, they're not related to anything. They're just its own thing. And they call it the true alien of our world. Is like there's so much that we don't understand about them either. Too, like they're just their own thing. So I don't know. Maybe they might be something greasy like that. Oop, oop. But yeah, they oftentimes when it comes to different animals, I'm like a weirdo. Like I'll look up, like I hate that. I hate how they just breeze past that dire wolves are brought back. Like that was like a 1 day thing and it's gone. Because like to me that's Jurassic World, man. Like we're getting to a point where like we're starting to mess with nature too much. Like we're dilly dallying on nature way too much. Another animal they're trying to bring back the woolly mammoth because they think that that'll change the atmosphere or the climate of Siberia, which it might. They always say that it might. Like the terraforming naturally instead of like man-made. But I've been thinking a lot about especially these data centers that are going out. And there's one, if you're in Oklahoma, well, if you're in the Tulsa County area, I'm never one because I know I know two of those commissioners pretty well. I've worked under them in some form or fashion, and I got to know one of them very well and what he likes to do. They rezoned an area north of Tulsa, near Owasso, and they're trying to put a data center in there for, I think, Google or Meta. And people don't realize. I think we as a species, as a human race, or we think we're the most superior thing. And I watched the Netflix or the Hulu documentary over Hurricane Katrina, and we have done everything we can to try to terraform New Orleans as a species. And one thing that I just don't think people realize and understand, especially about nature. Nature's a real thing. Like, nature's an entity. It's a being. I know people say Mother Nature, but like, it's a real thing. And like, what I'm worried to see is what's going to happen. Does that mean more tornadoes? Because like, what I'm worried to see is what's going to happen. Does that mean more tornadoes? Because like, we've seen when these ancient beings are disrupted, and that's what I'm worried about. Like, I'm currently in the process. I'm in my first draft of my first book, and my book is kind of about this, when we awaken things that we're not supposed to be awakening. And so, that's a lot of it for me. Is like we're doing things to our communities, and we're doing things to our resources when we're monetizing everything. Like, no one can afford groceries. I don't know how people can afford $400 groceries every 2 weeks. We've cut down where now we're like, hey, this is what we went and paid this past Friday when I was on live and I got off $300 and something worth of groceries from 2 places, and that's gonna have to last us, because like, it's getting to time where there's only so much pooling of resources that we can do. I don't understand how some of these people I see working McDonald's, like, they're minimum wage here in Oklahoma. I don't know how they're getting by. I don't know if everybody's shacking up in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath and just making it work. I mean, that's a lot of it right now. But I'm wondering if this is just the natural order of things. I know like I said, I mentioned earlier, I'm really big into reading kind of different comparisons in history and things like that, and we're hitting about 250 in 250 years as a civilization, as an empire with America. And give or take, we're about at the average. Now, there were some that lasted 300 years, there were some that lasted less. But they say it's like a 300-year cycle of basically one empire falling and another one rising. I mean, we watched all over the world. I mean, we've seen it. Rome, the USSR, like, we have different like comparisons that we can look at in history that, like, USSR didn't even last 100 years, maybe, not even that, maybe, honestly. We're at 250, and like, in terms of a continent, that's still very young, but we have zapped every bit of resource. And I hate to get on my soapbox, because that's really not what my podcast is. It's soapboxes, but like, I just see things all the time. I'm just like, how are we just allowing this? Like, how, as a human, like, as people, how we just letting them get this shit off? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And like, one of these days, it's gonna. This is my prediction. One of these days, people just stop paying. What happens if people stop paying? Oh, I can't afford that credit card that I've maxed out trying to pay for groceries. I don't know. Any other topics, guys, before we get out of here? I'm just over here ranting. I'm ranting and raving. I'm a lunatic. Crazy guy. Just a crazy guy. One of them savages people talk about. I had somebody in my comments. I had to block them. Talking about natives are savages. We should have killed more of them. It's like, God bless. The amount of arrogance to just come on someone's TikTok page and just go all out. Yo, you shot from the half-court line and airballed, my guy. You came on my page to get ragged on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Anyways, let's see here. How many likes we at? We at 5K. What did I say? We get to 5K? Is that what I said? I'll tell a story and get off here. Is that what I said? Or did I lie to y'all? I can't remember. But I appreciate y'all getting arthritis. Now, I bet some of y'all putting y'all's toes on the screen, which, hey, that's your business, but that's all right. Just keep tapping it. But I've been reading a lot of books. I just finished a book called Fiend, and I cannot remember the author's name to save my life. I'm a big supporter in libraries, very big supporter of libraries. I grew up in one of the Tahlequah Library. Man, my grandpa used to take us down there, and he said, "All right, boys, go." And me and my brother would sit there and read, or we'd go through the movies, and it brings back good memories. But I read a book called Fiend, which is a zombie apocalypse book or some type of virus book where the guy is a drug addict, and the only way that you can survive in this zombie apocalypse is if you're high on drugs. Crazy. I was like, whoa, this is insane. Some of the stuff they do in this book and the way it's described about how when you're so strung out and you start scabbing up, man, that just made me uncomfortable. But it was an excellent read, and it's called Fiend. Can't think of the author's name. I'll probably do a video on it here on TikTok. I watched like I said, I watched the Katrina documentary, and I just don't know how, man. That's just... It's still going on to this day, trying to rezone the lower Ninth Ward, but it's on Hulu. I'd recommend that one. Oh my goodness! Before I get off here, Alien Earth. Man, it's good. It is so good. It is so good. Like I think the director is adding to the lore, and not just continuing to recycle the same lore. But Alien Earth is on Hulu. I'm rewatching The Boys right now, trying to get caught up on that. Man, I'm a sucker for dang near. If y'all watch, if anyone in here watches 90 Days or 90 Day Fiance, anybody in here, I'm a fool for that show. You want to talk about seeing me get heated over relationship qualms? I be getting mad at that show. They just finished up A Hunt for Love on 90 Day Fiance. And man, oh man, the reunion's about to be spicy. Let's see here. It comes out later today. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. The next episode of Alien Earth. Gwen, hi from Tahlequah. Salute from Tahlequah. Last time I was in Tahlequah was literally a year ago. I used to work out at Marcoma all the time, Cherokee Nation's recreational center. Play basketball, fight people, threaten to fight people. Mindhunters on Netflix is not new, but it's pretty dope. Mindhunters is great. They're talking about trying to redo it on Disney. Maybe Netflix. I can't remember. I don't know who has the IP, but Mindhunters is great. I went and saw Weapons, Chef's Kiss. I thought it was a virus. I really thought it was a virus. But little do we know, it was a little old granny, old lady. But there's a lot going on with that movie. Have I seen Chernobyl Diaries? I have not. Is that on Max? HBO Max? I guess HBO Max now, but I haven't seen that. I think another series. I started the yogurt murders. The yogurt murders on HBO Max. I heard that's crazy. I'm first episode in. I don't really know what's going on, but I know 3 little girls lost their life, and then someone burned down the yogurt shop. So that's where we're at. I like true crime. I'm a big true crime guy. 90 Day Fiance, anything sci-fi related. I love zombies. That's my favorite. But I'm just trying to think what else I've watched. Weapons was great, like I said. I need to see Together with Dave Franco. I need to see that movie. I was going to go see it without my wife. She damn near stroked me, like just about choked me out. They almost said stroke me out. Gah! Getting dirty in here. Get greasy. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, 28 years later. Chef's Kiss. I thought about doing a full breakdown, but I just saw 2 minutes discourse, and I was like, well, people are not. They don't understand. I feel like they've never seen the first 2 movies. The 28 years later expanded so much in terms of the story and the lore behind the zombies, because we're starting to realize it's not the world. It's just this section of, of Europe. Even encompasses a little bit of Ireland. But one thing I love is that, yeah, it's been 28 years. I would expect people with a rage virus who are not zombies, they're not dead, they're actual humans, and they're infected, to continue to live with this crazy mind virus. And, still be able to reproduce, still be able to do these things. Because, with anything, you start to evolve, and, there is some intelligence there. He even knew where they were under the bunker. So I love that movie. I cannot wait for Bone Temple in January. I'm so excited for that, and I'm hoping that they get funding for a third one, because I just can't get enough of that, man. It's just a great story. Common Side Effects used to be on Hulu, but I can't see it now because some changes in sub. Man, yeah, streaming. I don't know what they're doing. They're overcharging like crazy, we canceled Disney, and then Disney brought out hey, you can come back for $2.99. So we came back for $2.99. I'm about to cancel that mug again and get $2.99. We didn't have Netflix for 4 months because there's just nothing. And then I'm a big WWE guy. I love watching Raw. I love watching all the pay-per-views. So I had to have Netflix, but you have to have the Netflix that's not the base to watch Raw, which is the craziest thing. And then you have to have Premium Plus to watch pay-per-views. So it's just a mess. It's a mess and a half. Let's see here. Dang, I've already answered this question, but were you on Spirit Talkers podcast with Chris, Tyler, and Russell? Yes. 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 I should just put that, yeah, you're the third person that's asked. It's all right, though. Yeah, no, I moved to Oklahoma City. It just, I couldn't make podcast shows. And then now with 2 daughters, I just have no time to set out a full day to record. And it's just the way it is. I had my own podcast, and it's been doing pretty solid. One thing I like about my podcast, it's a little bit different. Theirs just kind of sticks to a certain type of frame, native culture and things like that. I'm talking about conspiracies. I like conspiracies. I like pop culture. I think having a voice in pop culture. There's another podcast I want you to listen to, is the Magnez podcast. That's why I get frustrated when I see people talking on behalf of natives about certain things. Is because, we can talk too. I'm not mute, but yeah, I'm just, that's kind of what my lane is what I like doing. And plus I like to just record whenever I can do it, or go live like I am now. He says, I remember you. I know, Tyler, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad that you can join me on this brisk and very hot Tuesday afternoon. It's so hot. I literally got out the car earlier. I had to run around, and man, I was freaking sweaty. Dang, you ever been so sweaty you thought you went swimming? That's crazy. Just be out here swimming in air. It's crazy. Swimming in air. That's going to be a new t-shirt. And by the way, I need to work on my t-shirts too. I have Redbubble. I need to put the link to, on, maybe if I can find a way to put it on TikTok, but it's redbubble.com/warcrypod. You can basically go in, and I think I have 2 logos up. I took down a bunch of logos because I'm like, man, I got too much stuff going on. And I have people buying stickers and stuff. But yeah, stickers, t-shirts. Maybe I'll find a t-shirt here in a minute and show y'all what it looks like. But may have to show y'all what it looks like here in a second. Or maybe next time. But I know I was looking around. I was like, dang, because I wear them. Mine are so played out because I wear them every week. I've had people looking at my shirts because there's one that has like a Bigfoot scratch where it's just like this, like right across, and it has War Cry Pod, which I love. That's my favorite T-shirt. And then I have one. I used to have one that was of a werewolf, basically War Cry Pod, and then a werewolf right here. So that's pretty cool. But I had a couple people buy hoodies and shirts when I used to plug it a lot. Now I just get busy, man. I forget about it sometimes. Damn, I'm leaving dollars on the floor, but sometimes, you just got to leave them there. No, I'm just kidding. Tell me about it. I'm a roofer. This heat's miserable. Man, I don't know how you're doing it. That's suicide, man. It's brutal. But y'all be getting it done, man. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the roofers out there. I know y'all out there doing y'all's thing. All right, y'all. Last comments, last topic. Last thing you want me to talk about, any questions, you need to put them in right now. Because I'm got to get off here in a little bit, like soon. No, but I appreciate people, I like TikTok. Because, like, on YouTube, I can hardly see the comments. Like, there's sometimes I'll see them, but I get so locked into my guest or my live that I just don't even pay attention to the comments sometimes. And I feel bad because I don't want people thinking I'm uppity because I'm not. Have you heard the nurse talking about? Yeah, I think I have heard that actually. Is she the one that has the patients that were basically out in the middle of nowhere? Like she's like a home health nurse? I think so. I haven't heard any of the stories. I listened to the first part of her story, but like a lot of things I mentioned before, like my TikTok has been, notifications have been outrageous. So like I literally see it and I'm like, I start getting this social anxiety. I'm like, all right, man, I need to put it down. I need to go touch some grass. So I just touch the grass for a minute and walk back in. After hearing the fly stories, I'm well by flies in my house. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, man. Flies be on one. One thing too about flies. All right, I'm stupid. I'm y'all know this. Y'all probably know this. Right? I'm just some stupid guy. But why are flies creating maggots in my trash? Why? I don't want to look in the trash and see that mess. I don't want to see that. Because you're making me have to put gloves on. I got a phobia for maggots and poop. Dog poop and cat poop. I can't do it. I'm sorry, y'all. I just can't do it. My wife brought all these animals into our home and I just can't do it. But maggots is one thing that I absolutely cannot do. Because when I see a maggot, I immediately think that might be in my food when I order from like Wendy's or somewhere. Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to lift the trash up to take it out and look and there's like 1 million maggots. Like, buddy, you're about to be rinsed out. It's Tuesday. It's trash day. You're gone. You're out of here. Why are you being born? Keep it in. Anyways. No, that's crazy. You're going to... I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, good question. Yeah, disgusting. Bringing. Yeah, Aaron, I guess they do bring the maggots, don't they? I guess that's what it is. There's probably like little microscopic eggs on their feet. But yeah, flies have been outrageous this year. And just the heat in general. They make like... If I see someone with asshole sweat, you're not cooking my food. Like, we need to get the air on. Like, I know you've reached back there. Your booty sweat is insane. We're not doing it. Like, you're not making my food. I'm sorry. I'll go back there and make it myself. I worked at a barbecue restaurant and McDonald's before. So, like, yeah, I can make that for you. Oh, dang, my bad. I was like, bringing. What are you talking about? I missed it. Nah, dude, I don't see no comment that says that. Bro, I really don't even see a comment from you. Dang, did you just autocorrect yourself and comment it anyways? That's some boomer stuff. All right, so they're bringing back extinct animals. Yes, they are bringing them back. Yo, that's the most boomer thing to do, to be like, yo, I sent you a question, but then you just send the autocorrect to the question and not the question. Ah, man, bro. No, I'm messing with you. But yeah, I know the dire wolf, the elephant, or mammoth, they're trying to do the thylacine, which is the Tasmanian tiger. I don't think those things are extinct. I think there's some out there. They're running around. Like, they're still running, like, through the gamut. They're trying to figure out, like, so one thing that makes me nervous about that, especially with AI, is they're figuring out where AI can, like, do little, like, robots almost. Like, they're like it's like nanotechnology. And they're able to go into different things and collect data. Like, that's rolling out. And so, like, they're figuring out a way to where they can pull certain DNA from existing animals and compare it to extinct animals. But then also at the same time creating animals who are not extinct. They're still out there. I don't know. Because I know that there was a tiger out, I want to say in Madagascar, that they thought was extinct, and they were like trying to figure out a way to bring it back. And then Forrest Galante caught a video of it just walking by on a game cam, so they had to stop the whole process. It's crazy, man. It's literally Jurassic World out here. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's definitely Jurassic World out here. Because, like, we're doing way too much. Like, yeah, did we put these animals extinct as a species? Yes. But I also have a crazy conspiracy theorist about these extinct animals, and I don't know if the world's ready for it. I don't know if it's ready for it. Maybe they have technology already. Yeah, so I've heard, withholding technology that's like 10 years advanced, they've definitely been doing that. But another thing that I find, okay, I'll tell you my Antarctica conspiracy. So, I'm not a huge Mr. Beast fan, and this is crazy to even mention him in this, but he accidentally confessed on a live stream with Aiden Ross that Antarctica is a huge ice wall and that they went beyond the ice wall. He accidentally dropped that. So he was on a live stream and the guy's like, yeah, we've been to Antarctica. It's like a big ice wall. And Mr. Beast kind of looked at him like, bro, you're not supposed to say that. And he's like, wasn't it? And he like nudged him. Like, this dude was just nonchalantly putting this out on like a platform where like hundreds of millions of kids and people, you know, younger than me are watching. And he was like, yeah, like, he's like, I don't want to go into that. I 100% believe that either A, they ship these animals, which I don't know who they is. Or 2, these animals migrated, but when all the land masses were connected. Or C, aliens did it. Or, D, there's so many possibilities. Or D, there is a race or being or a species of people or someone who lives there and realizes, hey, there's a destructive force of humans who are destroying everything. Let's get our animals out of here. Because there's a lot of, like, there have been one occasion where someone has allegedly went beyond the ice wall and has stated that there were megafauna. If you don't know what megafauna is very large mammals, basically. Like inhabitants, like things like that. Admiral Byrd, I did an episode on the podcast about this, like episode 6. He saw megafauna all over the place once he got past that ice wall. Like, he also claimed that he saw someone speaking in a language that wasn't English, and that he had to turn around because he lost all his men. Now, here's where the flat earth people, they do get me a little bit. They do. They have me in the first half, and then they don't have me in the second half. Is our planet so big? If it's a flat earth, is our planet so big that we have our land and then just like another set of land that has a wall and then there's land on the other side? Is our planet that big? Maybe. Here's another thing that I get worried about, or not worried about, but I think about. If they're coming from the inner earth, then yes, I think we have enough land. But the problem that I have with any conspiracy is that we just don't know, because they do not allow anyone to go past a certain point. And the flat earth people get me. They have me in the first half. Like I said, they have me in the first half when they start telling me that the flight plans, so to go from like New York to like China, they got to go south, north, and then to China. It's weird. It's weird to me. Like, someone pulled up a flight plan for like someone to Saudi Arabia, and it was like they went the opposite direction, came south, and then went back up. Like, I don't understand it. Now, if someone sees this and is like, hey, I'm actually someone who flies planes, it's because these are the nearest fueling stations. All right, cool. But that doesn't make sense to me. Why wouldn't you just go in a straight line? Now, there is a Forrest Galante, which he's a very respected animal researcher, and he deals with extinct animals. There are certain animals that live on this side of the hemisphere. It's called the Hamilton line. I think it's called Hamilton. I might be wrong. But one half of the Hamilton line is a certain type of animals. On the other half is another set of animals. They don't cross that line. And it goes all the way around, allegedly. I don't know. It is things that I think about on a daily basis. So I look into it, I read, I find, what is this, what is that? It's fascinating. I don't know. I'm not an expert in anything. I just simply look into things and read. That's it. But there are a lot of things in our world that doesn't make sense, and we just accept. Like my theory on Friday, in the Friday live stream. I literally don't think that there's 6 billion people on this planet. I really don't. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Because if we have 300 million just in this country alone, this is how. I worked in federal municipality for the census during COVID. I'm gonna say this. I had to go to. I basically had plot points that I went to, and this is where I've become disillusioned with the federal government, because when some of the places I was going to, nobody lived there, but I had to count them because mail was being delivered there. Now I want y'all to think about that. I had to count as somebody lived there just because they were getting mail there. No one was home. It didn't look like any signs of life. That's a lot of my theory too. Is like I think that we have been conditioned to working, like everyone knows 7:30 to 9 is busy. Everyone is going to work. The 9 to 5. Or now if you're in other service industries, no. But a majority of those people majority of people have those jobs. So if we think about it, if majority of people have those jobs, we're going to see everyone in that space, and a small fraction of the population, especially here in Tulsa, because I drive my kids to daycare every day, and it's super busy at 8:30. It's super dead at 7:30. When I pick my kids up, which I need to do here in the next 10 minutes, it is not busy. But then you hit 5:30, everybody and their mama is out. After that, a couple thousand here and there. So that is my theory, that there's not 6 billion people on this planet. There's no way. And there's, like I said, counting people on the census, and I'm like, no one lives here. Like, well, is there mail there? Yeah, there's mail, but it's stacked up. Count it. I also think that that's conspiracy too, because if we keep continually adding people to that census, that is political power. I don't know. I'm just a weary traveler, guys. That's it. Just a weary traveler. Yeah, it is. Sam. Yeah, you remember that episode, the Admiral Byrd? Yeah, that's it's interesting. It's definitely interesting, that Admiral Byrd. And it just goes into a whole, long, as you guys can tell, I went on a long-ass tangent. Because I think it's all connected. I think that they're lying to us about how many people are here because it's scarcity mindset. That's the point. But then they put us, especially here in Oklahoma, they put in your mind as a little kid abundance mindset, like abundance preaching. If you do this, like of a higher power. So it's like, okay, one end they're telling us that it's scarcity because there's so many people, we need to, conserve our water, conserve our energy. They just tell us to do these things that don't make sense. But then in the same breath, we're raised and indoctrinated in our religions to be abundance and give back. We have nothing. I hear stories from people all the time. Oh, well, I gave this amount of money to my church, because I don't want God to forget about me. That's crazy to me. We can't even afford groceries. It's all connected. The 9 to 5 was put there for a reason. Kids being in school for 6 to 7 to 8 hours, and then going to their sporting events. That is all conditioning us to live this life. And how do we get out of it? You're talking to the wrong guy. Weird Main Paranormal. I was just talking about you, brother. What's going on with you? I was just talking about you. Let's see here. All right, guys. One last topic. I know, man. If you guys, let me know in the comments if you guys have enjoyed this live stream and if I should do more. It'll usually probably be later in the day. I may try to do something at night. I just got these kids, man, be driving me crazy at night trying to go to bed. But let me know one last topic, and I'm gonna get off here. And if you enjoyed the live, let's get to 10K. Let's get to 10K. Just tap the screen for me. Let's get to 10K, and I'm gonna get out of here. But yeah, man, there's just so much. I'm such a big conspiracy guy. I remember seeing Zeitgeist as a kid, being like, I had to know. And there's just a lot of things about, I grew up Church of Christ. And I just saw a lot of that, and I don't really want to get into a lot of it because, I don't want to disrespect anybody's thoughts or opinions about it, but it's just I saw it. I'm just disillusioned by a lot of that stuff. Dang, I'll tell you a story about Aaron. He's in the chat right now. So one night, me and him was getting sauced up, and it might have been late. We watched, I can't tell you how many documentaries of. If y'all remember during the Ebola virus in 2014, or what disease was that in that time? But we was watching the containment videos of people going into these. This is before YouTube was this is when YouTube was cool. You could get these videos, but people were going in and filming these large scale, basically burial tombs. So instead of just digging a hole and putting bodies in, they dig a hole, put this in, and then put the bodies in, and then cover it. we would watch. I can't tell you how many hours to get sauced up and watch that stuff. A lot of good times with that guy. I appreciate him coming by. Let's see here. Man, we're close. What are we at? 8.5. All right, y'all. Keep going. It helps me with the algos. And, like I said, I appreciate. I've had quite a few people, coming in and out, in which, hey, that's fine. I may put this on the podcast. Oh, it was the zombie apocalypse. That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. I knew it was some virus that we would we were watching. I remember because I remember someone sending me here a couple of months ago. He sent me the link to the federal zombie book, like where if the zombie apocalypse broke out, the government had a whole plan, and it made me think about you. I was like, dang! I was like, we used to watch all types of crazy videos, or the Illuminati ones with the Jay-Z hands, like when he do that. Dang! Oh, Illuminati! Oh, he's took. Tiffany Ramirez says, "Let's go." I know that's what I'm saying. We close. 9.1, man. Y'all. Hey, I appreciate y'all for real. Yeah, we was watching them videos like, yeah. We probably gave whoever made those shoddy documentaries like at least 1,000 views, because I remember we would show everybody those videos. But you know what? I don't think they're wrong. Low key, I really don't think they're that wrong. Just a lot of it's like things are coming out. Is the world going to end? I don't know. I don't think Jesus is coming back anytime soon. I think he already came back. That's my opinion. The Little Season, look it up. It's interesting. It just makes a lot of sense to me until someone can prove me wrong. But we are at 9.6. Ellen says, your live broadcast is so cool. Let's be friends. Appreciate you. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Hey, don't even catch me on the karaoke mic on a Sunday night. 9.8. But like I said, y'all, I appreciate y'all continuing to support my podcast and just me in general, because I have always struggled with what I want to do. Customer service facing stuff has always been super cool to me, and I've always done really well. But talking, yapping, and just having a good time, man, I'm good at that too. But all right, y'all, we hit 10K. Salute. I appreciate y'all. To everyone who was on the live stream commenting, I may have to run it back again. We'll see. But I appreciate y'all, and I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Let's get out.